Hi, I'm Del Shanzi, and today we're going to teach you a little about harness design in response to a video that was trying to suggest that the flat top harness is horribly uncomfortable. And I'm going to demonstrate how that is completely not true and what the actual realities are of the differences and the huge differences in different harness design and different units. So first I'm going to show you how simple and easy it is to get into the flat top and stand up. The quick release harness makes it very quick and simple to get into your harness. Now, because of the comfort bars of the flat top, notice there is no pressure on my body whatsoever in flight. There is literally no pressure on the leg straps, no pressure on the shoulder straps in flight, because you're hanging from an actual structure and a cage. So it makes a big difference. Then notice how easy it is to get up. You simply stand up with a flat top because you're already standing or sitting about 16 inches off of the ground. So getting up is much easier than when your butt is nearly flat on the ground. Now, one thing you do want to know is, just like any climbing harness, when you put it on, you want to take the slack out of any straps. So you've got the leg straps are snug, but obviously they're not applying pressure to your groin area in any way. And when you take off on a flat top, notice when the unit picks you up, your butt is literally sitting on the seat board. So there is zero pressure whatsoever on the leg straps during takeoff and landing. None whatsoever, because you're actually sitting on the edge of the seat board. So as you come off the ground, you simply pick your knees up and you're automatically in the seat. So just like climbing harnesses or a rappelling harness, it's important that all the straps are tight, but not so tight that they're causing pressure on any areas of your body. So really, anything that's too tight is simply because you tightened it too much. There's literally no real pressure on anything but where the actual paramotor is hanging from your body. But that only lasts for about 6 to 10 seconds, because in a normal launch, you would stand up, you would turn and you would launch, and that would be the end of it. You're in the air. No paramotor is really designed to be worn like a backpack, or they would be hanging from your hips and not from your shoulders. But none of the units do that, so anytime you're wearing it, the pressure is designed to be on your shoulders, which isn't the most comfortable, but keep in mind you're only wearing it for a few seconds at a time. As soon as you're in the air, all the pressure on the leg straps and the shoulder straps are completely gone instantly as you leave the ground. And any other discomfort is simply because you're not situated correctly, and you might just need to move things around and make sure you have everything in the right spot. Now, of course, another huge benefit to the flat top harness, the way it's designed, is not only do you never have to take your hands off the brakes to get into the seat, but getting out of the harness is very, very easy. 5 people drowned in one single year simply because their paramotor sank in water and they had so many buckles they couldn't get out of the seat. Watch how quickly you can get out of a flat top. With a Fresh Breeze, it doesn't work that way. Let's show you. Flat top, you're out. Quick release harness, very easy. Now let me show you the actual reality of what you have to go through to get into a Fresh Breeze harness. Because it is not a simple process of getting in. First of all, you're setting on the ground, so you're not up off the seat. So you've already got pressure because you're basically hanging from the harness while sitting in the seat. Oh, fudge, it broke. Okay, so we just experienced a catastrophic failure just immediately, just trying to hook up. The back of this harness was actually tie wrapped to the top, because it's obvious that these carry straps cannot be attached at the same time as this strap. So this Fresh Breeze literally came to me with the top of the harness tie wrapped onto the frame. And if somebody had flown it that way, that would have been a catastrophic failure that could have easily resulted in a death. So if anybody out there has a Fresh Breeze, I'd really like to know if there's a specific way that people usually put this on, or if people are jury rigging to try and figure out how to get the harness and the carry straps onto the unit at the same time. There's only one buckle, and you can't fit both of them on the same attachment point. So if there's a specific way, or if the company's just leaving it to customers, I mean, this customer literally had his harness tie wrapped to the top of the unit, which could have killed him. And it was sent to me that way because he traded this unit in. It's pretty much brand new, and he traded it in for a flat top because he just couldn't fly it. So I'd really like to know. So if anybody can post in the comments, if there's an official way these two are supposed to be attached at the same time, let me know. Or if mine is just an irregular, if that was a fluke and this guy just didn't know how to do it. But again, it's a perfect example because if you're trained by someone selling Fresh Breeze, you should know how these two pieces attach there at the same time in a way you could never experience catastrophic failure. So the fact that it failed is obviously a big problem. We just found another major issue here. Look how this harness is ripping away from the load-bearing strap. So you have to be real careful with the cheap gear because this obviously was not done by a certified rigger. You would not experience it being torn away like this. A lot of this stuff is just cheaply made in China by people who really don't understand aircraft. That's a great thing about the flat top, is it's designed and built by a certified rigger and the oldest ultralight manufacturer in the world. So they really know how to put things together on the flat top, where you see stuff like this very commonly on other units. So you have to look very closely how it's designed. Like the Black Hawk, the whole back of the harness is holding from a little inch of thread, and that's it. Okay, so let's now show you the process of how to get into a Fresh Breeze. You kind of have dual sets of shoulder straps that you have to kind of squeeze into. But then, you got to get into those first. I'm trying to get these untwisted. And then you're going to be sitting straight on the ground. So you sit flat on the ground and pull the leg straps up over. Oh. Okay. Leg straps. And then chest strap. Okay, so now I'm sitting flat in the mud or, wet grass or whatever when you're out in the morning trying to fly. Now I have to try and roll over and try and be able to stand up from a complete sitting on the ground. So I got to get my feet under me and then rock the unit up onto my back. Now keep in mind, if the Fresh Breeze is leaning forwards like this gas tank has no gas whatsoever, but it would be dumping gas all over the back of you. So then you gotta straighten your legs and then walk your hands back to your legs to get the stability and then stand up. And then keep in mind, the weight it's a lot heavier than the flat top. You're talking flat top that competes with this unit is the flat top 120, which weighs 47 pounds. The Fresh Breeze are up to about 63 pounds for the 122. So there's a huge weight difference. But the other big piece is that look how far the weight extends behind me. So the weight hangs way back there, which makes it feel even heavier than it actually is, where with the flat top, the weight is very close to your back. So to kind of give you an idea of how the weight distribution actually works, you want to see how deep these units actually are. The Fresh Breeze, if you measure from where your back is to the prop, you're actually 18 inches from the back of the seat to the back of the prop. So the unit sits considerably back behind you. With the flat top unit, that distance is only not quite 11 inches. So 18 inches to 11 inches. So you're talking about 7 inches. So not only is it considerably heavier, but the weight sits another 7 inches back behind your back, which so it doesn't just feel heavier because of the weight, but you have that weight really hanging off your back, which makes it a lot easier to trip and fall over backwards.
Ready.
So even if the weight were the same, where the weight is placed does make a big difference as to how it feels on your back. But now about the harness, again, you have the leg straps. It's the same, they cut right up, but of course, because these are super wide, they do kind of end up in that area quite a bit. But with the Fresh Breeze, it does not have a handless seating design. So with a Fresh Breeze, when you take off, you are literally hanging from the leg straps by your crotch until you let go of the brake toggles and then reach up and pull yourself into the seat once you're in flight. And be aware that if you let go of your brake toggles, they can go right in the prop. And if they get wrapped up in the prop, it can lock you into a face down spiral. Many have died that way. So you have to be very, very careful with a Fresh Breeze, because when you're going to get in the seat, your natural tendency is to be hanging way forwards, and look where the risers are gonna be, right into the prop. You're gonna have your risers right up next to the prop. With a flat top, you never lean forward, you just pick up your feet and you're in the seat. But with a Fresh Breeze, you gotta reach down and pull yourself up into the seat. And it's a much more irky-jerky situation, especially for new pilots. So to try and run, you have to see where that seat board is hitting. The seat board is hitting right into the frame. If you see the cockeyed angle of the seat board, it's catching right on that frame. So to run, my legs are literally being prevented from moving. So your legs, you can't run very well with a Fresh Breeze because of how the harness is bulky and thick and how many little connection points. And the way that that works, it makes it a lot more difficult to run. And then of course, when you're picked up by the harness, which has to be from these J straps that are kind of flopping all over in flight, which is really a bad thing. If your carabiners can come together and touch, then in flight, there's really no resistance to prevent you from getting twisted up in the actual lines of the glider. Now to get out of a Fresh Breeze, you do have to kind of squat down and lean backwards, get the weight onto the skids, and then get your butt back onto the seat. Now the problem are these buckles. These buckles really do not like to come undone if there's pressure on them. So you have to kind of force them together so that you can press the buttons to get those out. Which is why if you fall down underwater, you're upside down or something, it can make it very difficult. But all right. Okay. Okay, got it. Okay. There we go. And then you gotta slip out of those shoulder straps. Which... Okay. And then you're out. So obviously the new design is a lot less cumbersome. It's a lot lighter, so it's just not putting the pressure on your body. And just the whole way it's designed has been really revolutionized with the flat top. Big, big difference, big improvements. Now there's another big issue is that when you trip and fall down, notice you get smashed face first with the Fresh Breeze. So all of that weight lands right on the back of your head, neck, and shoulders, smashing you into the ground. The flat top is very, very different. If you do trip and fall forwards, which is rare, you just fall to the comfort bars. And it doesn't matter how hard you fall, the comfort bars are specifically designed for face plant protection to keep you off of your face. There's hundreds of more details, but this kind of gives you a basic general idea that some of the stuff being said is completely, totally false. The flat top is by far a superior design.